Hello there, welcome back to my channel. My name is Clarissa. If you're new here, I like to do tarot card picker readings, and eventually we'll do other spirituality related things on my channel as well. But for today, I have another pick a card reading for you. As you can tell by the title of the video, this pick a card is focused on tough love messages that you need to hear right now. I actually enjoy receiving readings like this, and I enjoy doing readings like this because sometimes I feel like we need to hear the truth even if it hurts, right? So that's what I have for you today, and I have 3 different piles for you. This is pile 1, 2, and 3. So these are actually like little coasters slash resin molds. My husband is actually like very artistic, and whenever he makes a piece of art that is resin related, a lot of the time he'll use the leftover resin to make coasters or other items, and I was really drawn to these ones today, so these are the ones that I have picked for the readings for today. So this is the little coaster for pile number 1. I'm gonna turn it around for you too. It's just like all red on the back, but we have like these beautiful gold flakes here at the top with the red resin as well. And I believe he did like a clear coat up here if I remember right. But anyway, I don't know. I'm not like the most knowledgeable person when it comes to resin, but he's really good at those things. So this one is related to pile number 1, or associated to pile number 1. And then we have this other little coaster here. I don't know how well you can see them on camera because it is a little bit difficult to see in person as well. But we have like gold flakes in here as well. And then this is like a gold and a light pink. And he kind of like ombre slash fused them together. I think that this one is really pretty. And you can see more of just like the coloring that he did here on the back. And maybe that'll kind of show you the differentiation. Like there are some specks of like gold. Maybe that's even, no, that's gold. I was gonna say maybe that's like copper, but it looks like it's gold. Okay, so that is for pile number 2. And then last but not least, we have this lovely, I mean, I guess you could use it as a coaster this way, huh? Actually, the back is very beautiful. Look at that. That's really pretty, that blue and that pink. But anyway, this is the item that we have associated for pile number 3, and we've got like the texture here. It's raised. It's very interesting, very beautiful. So this is for pile number 3. So I will give you a minute to go ahead and pick which pile you are the most drawn to. So typically for my readings, I do give a disclaimer that like, I don't believe that you can pick wrong for the piles, and you're probably meant to hear something within that pile, even if all of the message may not be for you. But for today, I'm really trying to get a little bit more specific with the readings. And so if you start listening to the reading and it does not resonate with you at all, feel free to come back to the beginning go back to the timestamps below as well, and you can pick a different pile from there. There may not be a message for you here today if there's nothing that you really need to hear from Spirit. And again, like these are tough love messages. So maybe you're at a place where you don't need to hear the truth in kind of a blunt way, but I think that this will resonate with quite a few people, and I'm one of those people in particular who enjoys some tough love. Sometimes I need that for things to get through my very thick skull. So if you're one of those people too, this is probably a very good reading for you. But anyways, please go ahead and pause the video if you need to figure out which pile you're the most drawn to, and then you can go to the description box down below and click on the timestamp related to each pile, and then that will take you directly to your reading. So I will see you guys in your reading, and go ahead, take a minute to meditate on the piles if you need to pick the one that resonates most with you. Okay, see you soon. All right, hello there, pile number 1. If you picked this lovely red and gold flaked coaster. Sorry, I could like not think of the word there for a minute. If you picked this lovely coaster here, this is your reading. So I did something a little bit different today. I went ahead and laid out all of the cards that were shuffled for you for this reading. And I did that because I'm hoping that I can get the most clear message from Spirit by doing it this way instead. And I'm really wanting to get a very good clear message for you today because I think that these are going to be very specific. Like, that was my intention, is to make these very specific readings for today. So again, if this is not resonating with you, I really do urge you to go ahead and pick another pile that you were drawn to, or again, maybe there's just not a message for you here today, and that's all right as well. So anyway, let's go ahead and get into it. I know that some of the cards are going to be a little out of frame, and that's all right. I will go ahead and move them into frame as I'm talking about each one, okay? So let's go ahead and go over these cards first. I'm sure that you saw that these cards were associated with your coaster as well. So you may have also been drawn to the cards, but you actually got 2 cards initially. My goal was to just get 1, but you got 2 that just like flew out. So I went ahead and took both of them. So you got Hope and you got Wisdom. And this is from the Green Witch Oracle deck. And I really love this deck. I think that it's very beautiful. But anyways, you got Hope and you got Wisdom. And the Hope is associated with the daffodil here. And then this is also Taurus. And then we have Wisdom, which is associated with Bay. And then I believe that this is supposed to be the sign for Leo in this deck. I don't believe that there is anything associated with like the North Node in this deck, but that is kind of what it looks like. So, you know, up for interpretation, I feel like. But what I'm really seeing with these cards right now is that I feel like for most of you, I feel like you're at a point in your life where you have become very wise. And I'm getting the feeling that this is in regard to relationships and potentially like what you want from a romantic partner. So I feel like you've just kind of matured and you have a lot of wisdom as to what you expect from somebody in a romantic relationship. And then I feel like you have a lot of hope right now toward the future, or you will, once you kind of get past, I'll get into it here in a minute. I don't really want to get into it too quickly, but I feel like there will be a lot of hope for you toward the future. And it's interesting actually, because we have Taurus here, and if you don't know, currently the North Node is in Taurus. And so I just get this feeling that perhaps that is one of your placements in your birth chart, is Taurus in the North Node. And there's a lot of hope for you toward the future. It's actually funny because right now when I'm filming this, there is an eclipse going on. So if you're a fixed sign, Taurus, Aquarius, Leo, or Scorpio, and in particular, if you have if you have the Taurus, Scorpio, North and South Node axis, you may be really feeling some stuff right now, maybe going through it a little bit. I'm right there with you. So you may be kind of going through a big change right now, and I feel like if there isn't already, you will have a lot of hope towards like what your future will be, towards future romantic relationships, you know, whatever it may entail for you. So I'm going to go ahead and get into your tarot cards now and kind of touch on what I meant by hope a little bit more. I just was trying to like not get super sidetracked. So let's go ahead and look at your tarot cards that we got for you for today. So we have the 6 of Cups, we have the King of Pentacles, we have we have the 5 of Wands, the 4 of Pentacles, the 2 of Cups, and the 1 of Cups. And so the reason why I said I feel like this may be a romantic relationship, or you may have gotten, gain some wisdom toward like what you're wanting in a partner is because of all of the cup water energy here. So again, I really do feel like if you're watching this reading, you probably have some Taurus, maybe even Scorpio placements or other water sign placements. Because we also have Pentacle energy here. We only have like one wand card. And so I think that that's really interesting, actually. Let's go ahead and start off here with the Six of Cups. So I'm really getting the feeling here that for you, you may have been in a romantic relationship with someone that you've known for a very long time. Someone that you may have even known since you were, like a teenager in middle school even, or even as a child. And I feel like there was a lot of nostalgia tied up in the relationship. I feel like you were very much so focusing on the positives of that relationship and really trying to not focus as heavily on the negative aspects of the relationship. And we'll get into it here in a minute, but I feel like there were some negative impacts and aspects of the relationship. But I feel like for you with the Six of Cups energy, which again is actually funny because the Six of Cups actually does correlate with the Sun in Scorpio. So I think that that's kind of funny actually, because again, we were talking Taurus, Scorpio, and water sign vibes. But yeah, I feel like perhaps you kind of were dwelling a little bit too much in the past and getting a little bit more wrapped up in the nostalgia of the good times of the relationship and not focusing on what was actually occurring. And that may be even something for some of you that you're currently still dealing with, is you're allowing yourself to view the relationship with like rose-colored glasses. You're not paying attention to the negative aspects of that relationship, even though you really need to. I'm getting the message from Spirit that you really truly need to pay attention to those negatives of the relationship, and I'm going to tell you why here in a minute. I feel like for a while, for a lot of you within this romantic, and again, I'm feeling like it's a romantic partnership, and like I said, I'm really wanting this message to be very particular, to be very specific. So for the majority of you, I'm feeling like things have not been great within this relationship for a while. I feel like you've been at odds with your partner and you guys aren't really seeing eye to eye anymore on a lot of different things. And that can happen when we've been with somebody since we were really young, right? Like we change, we grow, we evolve, and sometimes we do it together with a partner. And sometimes we grow apart, and there's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes people are only meant to be in our lives for a specific amount of time, and they're there to teach us certain lessons, and then we're meant to move on from that relationship. And I know that can be very hard. I'm getting the feeling and like the message from Spirit that this has been a very difficult relationship for you to let go of. And I feel like it is because there's so much like nostalgia wrapped up in this relationship. It's very emotion based. It's heavily influenced by your emotions because you've known this person for such a long time, and it can be difficult for us to end relationships with people that have been in our lives for such a long period of time. And truthfully, at that point, it feels like the person, if you guys were to break up, that like, because typically with relationships, when you do end them and you break up with somebody or they break up with you, I mean, there's that period of time or even forever where you don't talk anymore and you don't know that person anymore and you become strangers. And there is some beauty in that, I will say, in the fact that, sometimes, again, we're not meant to know somebody our entire lives or theirs, and sometimes that can be really hard to hear and come to terms with. But I'm really getting the message from Spirit that this person was not meant to be in your life long term, and perhaps in the future you guys could have an amicable like friendship or relationship, but I don't see that right now. I really am getting the feeling that this partner, and, if you're not in like a heterosexual relationship, that's perfectly fine. For some reason, I'm getting the feeling that this was like a man in the relationship. It could also be someone with a lot of masculine energy. I feel like they were very controlling of you financially. And I'm getting the feeling of that because the way that the King of Pentacles is represented here with this, it's almost like a safe. For me, it's like the King of Pentacles in this representation with the tarot cards is like all of his money is locked away here, and like he's holding on to it here like with a very strong grip, and like almost like he doesn't trust anybody with the money either because there's a lock on the box. And so I'm really getting the feeling that this person had a hold over you financially, and they started to become very controlling with the finances and didn't allow you to have certain things because that was their way of controlling you and controlling the relationship. It can be very difficult for us to leave a relationship when we're not financially stable and we were relying on a partner to provide us with that financial stability. And it gets to be very difficult when we have a partner that is controlling of us financially. And I'm also getting the feeling here with this Four of Pentacles card. For me, like the overwhelming feeling that I'm getting with this card is of control. I mean, look at how big this like skeleton bride looking individual is here, and look at how little the people are here. And like it's very interesting that this says bank right there. It's like she's controlling all of the finances and everyone else is kind of like her little puppet, right? That's the vibe that I'm getting. And so that's why I feel like the individual in this relationship was very controlling of the finances, and very much that was like their way of controlling you and keeping you confined, is by only allowing you certain access to your guys' finances. And I say your finances because if you're married, like they are both of your finances technically. And, you know, if you've been together for a long time, you have kids, whatever, you know, your partner should be splitting finances with you. It shouldn't be just because like you don't work or you stay at home or whatever that you don't get any say in how the finances are distributed within the household. That's just my personal opinion. But anyway, that's kind of the vibe that I'm getting. I really feel like this partnership has to come to an end. And, you know, we're going to get into it here in a minute, but you may not even be able to see it really from your angle yet. But we also have here in one of the oracle cards that I got for you, it's actually the Black Moon astrology card deck, and we have the 8th house of endings and beginnings, and we'll get into that here in a minute. But I feel like this relationship has honestly become toxic and it really needs to end. And I feel like this relationship was here for you to learn what it is that you expect and want from your partner. And, you know, if this individual was controlling you financially, then you know that you want a partner in the future who doesn't do that, who doesn't belittle you because maybe you are staying at home to raise a family, or doesn't belittle you because maybe you make less money than they do. And somebody that, you know, is willing to give to you as a partner, and pour into you and into your cup. Somebody that is generous and kind-hearted and, you know, would never want to control you financially. And I will say, as somebody who grew up in a household where things were always about money, that was one thing that I knew I never wanted to do, was to be in a relationship where I felt controlled because of finances, or to control a partner because of finances. And so I just want to like reiterate to you, there are people like that out there. There are people like that out there who believe that things should be split equitably, and, you know, will never belittle you because of what you make, okay? Or what you don't make, but will see the other like things that you bring to the table. And I really do feel like there is a better relationship for you on the horizon. There's somebody that will come into your life that truly loves you and doesn't want to control you and wants to give to you what they're able to, and doesn't want to make you feel less than because, again, maybe you don't make as much money, or maybe you're currently staying at home, or who knows, maybe you have a disability and you can't work. Like, there are a lot of things that kind of factor into that. But that is like ultimately the message that I'm seeing with this. And again, we'll get in here to these astrology cards, but I really feel like this relationship has to come to an end. This time period has to come to an end in order for you to get to the person that you're meant to be with. You know, unfortunately, sometimes people, like I said in the beginning, aren't meant to be in our lives forever, and there's nothing wrong with that, okay? It's interesting though, because I almost feel like for you, this may have been like a soul contract or agreement that you had before you even reincarnated into this life. If you don't believe in reincarnation, that's fine, but you know, that's just something that I believe in, and I do believe that we all come into this life knowing of certain lessons that we need to learn for our soul to grow. And for you, I feel like there was an agreement that you made with this individual that you were going to learn from the way that they negatively treated you in relationships, so you know what love truly is, and you're able to seek out that love from someone else, from another partner, okay? The 8th house also represents Scorpio in astrology, and you know, I think it's interesting because the 8th house is all about endings and beginnings. It's about death and rebirth. It's about transformation, right? Scorpio is all about transformation, and it's funny because I think that people give Scorpio such a bad rap coming from a Scorpio. Isn't that ironic? That, you know, Scorpio is so stuck in their ways and Scorpio doesn't like to change, but it's funny because Scorpio actually, I feel like, represents the most change out of all of the signs. And Scorpio is constantly shedding its skin and changing into something else. And so I feel like, you know, this is going to bring about good change for you, and it will bring about a partnership and relationship that is healthy, okay? I'm really getting the feeling here that there could even be more to this story than just, you know, financial control. And this truth here with Saturn could also represent, you know, your eyes kind of opening to, wow, like not everybody is treated like this in a relationship, because I really believe that we accept the love that we think we deserve. And so if you think that this is what you deserve, but maybe you're awakening and realizing, actually, like, I deserve a lot better. I deserve a partner that does X, Y, and Z, and this individual is not doing that for me, then I feel like, you know, this is why this card is kind of coming out for us. Saturn is a very difficult planet, and you could be going through a Saturn return right now as well. For some of you, I'm getting that message, but for a lot of you too, you know, Saturn could be heavily transiting in some of your very like important houses. Like Saturn could even be transiting in your 8th house currently. Like you might just kind of want to look at currently what planet Saturn is in, and to be completely honest with you, I would have to double check because I'm not sure. I believe Saturn is currently making its way through Pisces. So if you have a Saturn in Pisces, you may be going through your Saturn return, or you may be about to. And, you know, Saturn really wakes us up to the things that are wrong in our lives, right? Saturn is a difficult planet. Saturn is described in astrology as like the father of the zodiac, and very much so like the father that is kind of a hard ass. I don't know how else to describe that, but, you know, doesn't let things slide for you, all right? Like makes things a little bit difficult for you, but does reward you when you make it past these difficulties. Because like I said before, I really believe that we've kind of already set forth some things that are going to be difficult for us in this lifetime. And Saturn is here to teach us difficult lessons. It can be a very challenging planet. But I really feel like the truth has kind of come out for you that maybe this relationship really isn't supposed to work out, and that you deserve better, because you do. You deserve somebody who won't belittle you or try to control you financially, okay? So that is the message that I'm getting with that. I'm going to go ahead and move these up a little bit so you can kind of see them a little bit more in frame. And we're just going to cover these tarot cards and this other bit in here with hope and with wisdom. Let me just move these up a little bit here. Maybe we can see a little bit better. Okay, cool. And then you also got Mars Force, and you got the 5th house of creativity. You know, the 5th house can also be about like our inner child. And so I feel like this card here, like the 6 of Cups, can also kind of reflect our inner child and focusing and dwelling on things that may not have necessarily served us in childhood, or, you know, wanting to return to that childlike state. And so I feel like for you, this is kind of representing, you know, that difficulty of letting this partnership go because you've known this individual for so long. But I also feel like maybe this person, maybe you're like an artist, or you know, do something that is very creative in nature, and maybe you just don't make a lot of money right now. Maybe you've kind of just started and you're not making a whole lot of money. And, you know, that's why this individual is controlling you financially, because maybe they are the one that are paying the bills and that make the most money. And I feel like maybe they belittle you and the career that you are trying to seek out, or the career that you currently have. And I really feel like they've been stifling you creatively. I feel like they've taken your joy out of creativity, and they've made you feel like your creative pursuits don't mean anything, and they're not important, and they're insignificant. And maybe they've even told you need to get a real job and stop playing around. I'm really getting that message for some of you. And if you've been told that, I'm really hearing from Spirit that that is one of the reasons why you need to end this relationship, because you are inherently a creative person and you really thrive on, you know, your inner child being able to come out and play. And this person has like stifled your creativity and your inner child and your inner voice. And, you know, I'm really getting the feeling here from Spirit that if you don't end this relationship, they will, okay? Your spirit guides, your spiritual team, the universe, God, whatever it is you believe in, will intervene, all right? With this Mars card here, I'm feeling like it will be forceful. They will make things end if you don't end it yourself, because this partnership is not meant to last long term. And you need to get out of this partnership because it is negatively affecting you, okay? So that's the message that I'm getting from those cards. So we also have here, I did ask Spirit if there were any additional messages for you with the Green Witch Oracle cards, and honestly, probably more would have fallen out, but I just went ahead and went with these lovely cards here. So we have Gratitude and we have Agreement, which we kind of already touched on Agreement, and I feel like this was a very karmic relationship, okay? This was something that had to happen for you so that you can get to where you need to be. Relationship, and like you can understand what it is that you should expect from a relationship, or that you should seek for a relationship. And I feel like this card is coming out, this Gratitude card is coming out because you are on the path to understanding and like gaining more wisdom and hope for the future and future relationships. And ultimately, even though this is going to be difficult, because the ending of relationships is always difficult. I don't care what anybody says. It is difficult and it's hard to work through, but I know you're going to get through it. That is an overwhelming message that I'm getting from Spirit, is that you will get through it. You will be fine. You will be better off. And you will be grateful that you learned from this experience and that you had this relationship to teach you what you truly want in a partner and what you truly expect from somebody that loves you, or that says that they love you, and what you expect moving forward, okay? So that is the tough love message that I have for you today, pile number 1. I'm going to go ahead and leave the reading at that. If this resonated with you, please give me a thumbs up, like this video, comment, leave me a comment below, and please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And again, thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you in the next pick a card reading, okay? Thank you. Bye. All right, hello there, pile number 2. As you can see, I have a little bit of a different setup today. We'll get into that in a moment. But just as a reminder, if you picked the pink and gold coaster with the gold flakes in it, this is the reading for you today. So I went ahead, I want to make this message as specific as possible, which is why I told you guys at the beginning that if the message just isn't resonating with you at all, then you may want to go back and try another pile. And again, you know, this message, because I'm wanting it to be a little bit more specific, may not be for you today at all, and that's okay, all right? You can always join me for the next pick a card reading, but I just wanted to give that disclaimer before I get into your reading for today. I will go over each card in here individually, but this is all of your oracle and tarot cards that were shuffled and received for you today, okay? I just want to apologize in advance if you hear any like shuffling around or any noise in the background. It is most likely my cat. She is in here just chilling in her little bed, and so if you hear her moving around or, you know, trying to scratch at the door to get out, that is why. But let's go ahead and get into your reading for today. So the card that was associated with your coaster that you picked, so this is what you were seeing at the beginning, with all 3 of the piles. This is the card that you received. It is number 11, transition. You know, I find this actually very interesting. So, you can also see Cancer symbols here. I really feel like the person that this reading is meant for is a water sign, and you may be able to see it, may not, but here is the Pisces card as well. You got Pisces, I believe. So I'm just getting like a strong feeling that you're a water sign for some reason. If not, that's okay, but that's just what I'm feeling. So it's interesting that we have cauliflower here for transition, because, you know, it just like makes me think about how versatile cauliflower is nowadays. Like, we literally will use and make cauliflower into anything. Cauliflower is pizza, it's wings, it's like they make, what is that called? They make cauliflower gnocchi at Trader Joe's. Like, they do anything with cauliflower. And so I feel like cauliflower is very versatile, but I'm also getting the feeling that perhaps you're no stranger to change, and you have found yourself going through a lot of different transitions in your life. And you kind of are like cauliflower. You're very versatile. You're very good at kind of changing and adapting and going with the flow when you want to, okay? And I will get into why I preface it as when you want to. So that's kind of the vibe that I'm getting from this card here. Let's go ahead and get into your tarot so I can kind of go over what I mean with you a little bit more in depth. I'm just going to move these cards a little bit out of the way here, so you may not be able to see them for a little bit, but I want you to be able to see your tarot cards well enough. So let's get into those. So for you today, we got the World, we got the Tower, we got the Queen of Pentacles, the Seven of Wands, the Seven of Swords, and the Lovers. Very interesting that you got 2 sevens here. But anyway, I'm really getting the vibe, you guys, that right now you are kind of in a moment of disillusionment where, you know, there's something going on in your life that needs to change, and you aren't wanting to. Or you're kind of like ignoring what needs to be done. So I feel like, you know, you may have felt like for a while, or you may even, you know, get to this point after you do go through your change, that you have reached your pinnacle, that you are, you know, with the World card, it is about us, you know, reaching our goals, reaching the things that we have sought after, and just like being very vibrantly happy and enthused and just like feeling like we're in a good place. But I feel like it really is an illusion. Like there's stuff that you're ignoring, that you've been ignoring for a while because you'd rather live in this beautiful illusion, you know, fairy tale idea that everything is perfect. And the only reason why I say that to you is because the next card that came out for you is the Tower. And I actually really like the way that they show the Tower in this deck. This is the Santa Muerte deck, by the way. And I really love the way that they display the Tower here. Like you can kind of see it's like one of those illusion type, you know, this is like one of those things that I feel like you'd see at like an illusion like museum or you know, some sort of exhibit, because the stairs are all going in different directions and, you know, everything is kind of all over the place. It's essentially like a maze, right? So I feel like while you're pretending that everything is okay and beautiful and perfect on the outside, it really isn't. There's a lot of confusion and even like maybe negatively, or I mean poorly set foundations of when it comes to like relationships, when it comes to your career, with whatever it may be for you. I feel like you kind of just have this, you're wanting to stay up in your lovely little ivory tower and not be bothered, but I'm gonna be the one to break it to you, because again, this is supposed to be some tough love messages today for you. You can't do that, all right? And I'll get into why, but the cards are telling you that that is not gonna work, all right? So you have to get out of your head and get out of this, you know, fake illusion that everything is perfect and dandy and fine when it's really not. I'm really feeling like maybe for some reason there is some sort of disruption between your home life, your work life, your social life. Like maybe things are just really out of balance. That's what I'm feeling with the Queen of Pentacles. You know, usually she is very good at being, you know, that I like to think of her as like the super mom or the super dad or whoever it is that like she's supposed to represent in the reading, that everything's fine. I'm fine. I've got it all under control. I've got my, you know, work-life balance with my home life and my social life, and everything is like perfectly balanced to a T, and everything's good. And, you know, a lot of the time for her, that is what that can represent, or I mean, she is what that can represent for you in your life. But I'm not really getting that vibe for you, and I'm sorry to be the one to say that, but like I said, this is going to be a very honest reading, and I'm not going to filter myself in any way, shape, or form. So, yeah, I just feel like, with this card, it's like you're just climbing this like never-ending ladder. You are continuing to burn yourself out, to overgive and over, you know, sorry, I'm like trying to think of the word that is coming to my mind, but you're really giving too much of yourself and you're not keeping enough of yourself for you. And, you know, I know that we love people, and I get the feeling that you are a very committed friend and, you know, lover, family member, whatever, and you want to help everybody around you, but like we can't help everybody unless we help ourselves first, okay? And that is a message that is really coming through from Spirit for you, that you really need to take some time and practice some self-care. And I feel like that's why this card is coming up for you as well, because the Queen of Pentacles is very good about knowing when she needs to step back from something and when she needs to give herself a little bit more grace and love in her life. And I feel like you need to be giving yourself a bit more, you know, self-care at this juncture, at this point in time, because I just feel like you are at a point where it's like you're mentally battling every part of yourself that's like, well, we do have the energy to do this, we could do that, we could do this, but you're like, there's a part of you that's like, no, like I've already overextended myself. But I get the feeling that like for a lot of you watching this, you're a people pleaser, okay? And I know exactly what that's like to give too much of yourself when you don't have anything to fill anybody else up with anyway, right? So like your cup is completely empty or almost empty, and you're still trying to give away what you have to other people, and you can't do that, all right? You just can't do it. It's not sustainable for you for the long term. I feel like we're just in this place of like disharmony. And like with the Lovers here, I really feel like for you, it again is you like playing into this disillusionment of, well, I can do this, I can do that, I could take care of that, but like you need to learn how to delegate some things off to other people, okay? You need to learn that like it is not on you to do everything for everyone all of the time, okay? You can't be everyone's everything, all right? You have to be able to step back and take care of yourself. And you know, it's interesting the way the Seven of Swords is represented here. I feel like you do, it's like, if you can see in the card there, it says hope and reflection. And like reflection is spelled with an X, which is interesting. But yeah, it says like hope and reflection there at the top. And usually the Seven of Swords, like in the Rider-Waite Tarot, represents like thievery, trickery. But I'm not getting that vibe from this card. I really feel like you're trying to fool yourself. And I feel like you need to take a rest and you need to reflect on what's actually possible for you to do. You need to take a break, take a breather, sit down, chill out, and you need to really try and figure out what is possible for you to get done in a day and what you need to delegate off to other people for you to maintain your own like sense of mental health and dignity, okay? Like it's just really coming through for me, or to me from Spirit, that you're overextending yourself, okay? You really are overextending yourself and you really need to chill out. And I feel like you are having like an internal battle with yourself, like I said, where it's like you are telling yourself or trying to convince yourself that you have the time, the energy, the resources to continue to help people at the capacity that you are, but you really need to help yourself right now, okay? You really need to provide yourself with some love and some care, and you know, you need to do a little bit of healing yourself, because I really feel like this is coming out because there is a shadow aspect of you that feels like you are not valuable to people unless you are providing them with service. And that is not true, okay? You are always valuable regardless of what you bring to the table and regardless of what you can help other people do, all right? And I feel like you need to show yourself some love and some compassion. I feel like that's why the Lovers is coming out. The Lovers can also kind of like show the shadow aspect of ourselves that maybe we've been neglecting, or that, you know, we haven't taken the time to really meet and come to an understanding with. And for you, I feel like it's this people-pleasing mentality, this mentality of I need to take care of everyone and everything. You can't, okay? You can't. It's that simple. I know you want to, and I really get the feeling that some of you are pissed right now listening to this, and I'm sorry. I'm not trying to make you mad. I'm trying to tell you that it's not on you to take care of everybody, okay? You can't do it. It's not on you. That's too much of a job and too big of a job for one person, all right? I want to get into a little bit more kind of what we're seeing here. I asked Spirit for more clarification on the message that they were wanting you to receive with these lovely Black Moon astrology cards, which I love because I am an astrology hoe and I love astrology. And so again, one of the reasons why I feel like this reading is for my water sign babies is because like we have Pisces, I believe there, and Pisces, unfortunately, can all be about disillusionment as well. Pisces Pisces loves to ignore, and I say this as a Pisces rising. Pisces loves to ignore what's wrong and what needs to be fixed, okay? And you could also be somebody that's got really like a lot of Pisces placements or 12th house placements, as well as 6th house placements or Virgo placements. And Pisces and Virgo actually sit directly opposite of one another on the zodiac wheel. And it's very interesting because Pisces definitely can get the rap for overextending themselves and giving too much of themselves away to other people. And Pisces has a difficult time sometimes setting boundaries with other people. And I know all too well because I struggled with this for a good portion of my life. I struggled setting boundaries, healthy boundaries with other people, and all it did was further aid in my burnout. So I'm really, this message is coming from a good place, okay? I'm not trying to judge you. I'm not trying to make you feel bad about yourself. I know what it's like, okay? And I want to help you see that you can't be everyone's everything all of the time. You have to leave some for you, and you have to protect yourself, okay? You have to learn how to set healthy boundaries with people, all right? So it's interesting because we got the 6th house of routine here. And again, this is actually the house that is ruled by Virgo. It's all about our daily routines and our habits and the things that we do on a daily basis that help us excel, help us, get to where we want to be. Virgo is very meticulous, very planned, very organized, and Pisces is the exact opposite of that. And as somebody that has that strong Pisces, sorry that my hair is there if you were looking at that, as somebody that has that Pisces Virgo polarity in their chart as well, it can be very difficult to deal with sometimes because Pisces wants the excitement and wants the thrill of starting something new and doesn't want to plan everything, wants to be spontaneous. And Virgo is like, no, we have to do things XYZ like this. And honestly, I feel like you need a good balance between the two. I feel like you need to ground and get yourself in a good routine, a good healthy routine. And you need to learn how to set healthy boundaries with other people. And I feel like that's why this card is coming out for you. You really need to tap into that Virgo energy and not be afraid to set healthy boundaries with other people, to set up routines that help you accomplish the things that you want, and also help you heal and help you work through some of your burnout that you may be experiencing, help you refill your cup. And this is where like self-care routines could come into place here, and why the Queen of Pentacles came out for us. Because I feel like you're really needing to focus right now on creating a healthy lifestyle and routine for yourself. And I'm not saying you gotta go like eat clean, go on a diet, any of that stuff, but I feel like you need to organize a little bit more. I feel like you need to set yourself like a schedule a little bit more. You can't always do everything super spontaneously, because then sometimes what ends up happening is we procrastinate things, we put them off to the last minute, and then we're just more anxious, more burnt out, more worried about whether or not we're going to get those things done. I feel like for you with the 4th house, here it's saying roots. The 4th house is actually ruled by Cancer and has a lot to do with our childhood. And I feel like, again, you need to do some healing. I feel like for you, these people-pleasing tendencies, this need to take care of everyone around you is rooted in your childhood, rooted in how you grew up, rooted in what the people around you expected of you as a child. You may even be like the oldest child of the family, and then, based on certain cultures as well, if you're the oldest daughter, even if you're not the oldest child, a lot of responsibility falls on your shoulders. And I really feel for you guys, pile 2, because I am an oldest child as well, and it took me quite some time to work through the trauma of having my childhood taken away early so that I could help out with my sisters. And I don't say that because I don't say that because I'm looking for sympathy. I don't say that because I'm angry or anything still about it. I'm really truly not. I've worked through a lot of that, but I feel like that's what you need to do. You really need to dive in and dissect, why is it that I feel the need to overextend and overexert myself and get to a point where, you know, I'm in this disillusionment of everything being all right when it really isn't. And you know, you also got the 8th house, endings and beginnings, which is ruled by Scorpio. It's funny because this card also came out for pile number 1. So if that pile resonated with you in any way, you may want to check that out. Again, it may or may not tie into anything you need to hear, because these are supposed to be more specific readings for you guys today. But it's interesting that you got this card and the Tower. The Tower very much so has the same kind of energy as the 8th house, as Scorpio, where things need to kind of come crumbling down and end for us in order for us to see what was wrong with them to begin with, right? Sometimes we need to get to these places where we're burnt out, and then we need to analyze, like, that's essentially kind of what happened with me as well. I got burnt out, and then I had to analyze, okay, well, why was I overextending myself? Again, going back to like the childhood, going back to your childhood, and like why you felt the need to overextend and help other people to the point of your detriment. And you know, breaking those cycles. I really feel like for you, this card is coming out because you're supposed to break this cycle. You're supposed to stop this. You need to learn how to set healthy boundaries with other people, okay? I also have 3 additional cards for you from the Green Witch Oracle that came out when I asked Spirit for any additional clarifying messages for you. So we have love, we have focus, and we have clarity, okay? And I really feel like these cards tie in very well to all that we've talked about today for you. I feel like, unfortunately, you had to get to this point. You have to get to the point where your tower comes crumbling down for you to clearly see what's going on and why you feel this way and why you are a people pleaser, why you give too much of yourself away to other people. And I feel like the focus here is tying in very much with our 6th house of routine. Focus on the things that you can actually do for people during the day. If like you have this innate need to help other people, focus on what you can do that's realistic, setting boundaries against the things that you can't do on a daily basis, and focus on healing, okay? Focus on self-love, focus on taking care of you, because routines are also like our self-care routines. What do you do throughout the week or during the day to care for yourself? You need to implement things on a daily basis that you're doing to care for you, whether it be drinking enough water or eating enough food, or, you know, bathing yourself, brushing your teeth, giving yourself a good like night skincare routine, whatever. Like, you need to show yourself love and understanding, and know that like your self-worth is wrapped up in a lot more than what you're able to provide other people, okay? Like, you cannot think for the rest of your life, for the rest of your existence, that you're only valuable if you are being of service to other people. That makes you a beautiful human if you want to help other people. And that may be one of your purposes here, but I also feel like your purpose is to learn how to give, how to receive, how to balance things out, how to like cut back and stop when you know that your tank is being depleted, okay? So I'm sorry if some of you did not like this message. I really strongly got that feeling that some of you are angry. And I'm sorry if you didn't like that, but that's what needed to be said, okay? That's what was coming through from Spirit. And that is what you needed to hear right now, okay? And again, this was a tough love reading, so may have been a little harsh, but it was the truth, all right? So I hope that this reading resonated with you. I'm going to go ahead and leave it there for you today. I hope that this resonated for you. I hope that you got something out of this. If you did, please feel free to leave me a comment down below. Give this video a thumbs up, and we will see you guys in the next one, okay? Thank you. Bye. All right, hi there, pile number 3. Just as a reminder, if you picked this blue and pink coaster, like the lovely, beautiful coloring on the back, then this is your reading for today. So we're going to go ahead and get into it. You've probably noticed that my setup is a little bit different than it has been in the past. So today I'm really trying to, excuse me, I'm really trying to channel a more specific message for you. So again, as a reminder, if this reading is not resonating for you, you may want to go back and pick a different pile that may resonate with you more. There truthfully may not be a message for you here today, and that's all right. If that is the case, no hard feelings. I will see you in the next pick a card reading that I post. But we'll get into all of the individual cards, and I'll kind of separate things out so that you're able to see a little bit better. But I just wanted to give that disclaimer before we get started, because it very well may be that the reading today doesn't resonate with you, and that's all right. Again, this is meant to be for some specific individuals that need to hear it, okay? So we're gonna go ahead and get into it here. The card that was turned, upside down, that had this lovely coaster on it, at the beginning of the reading and the pile selection. Also, sorry, I forgot to mention, if you hear like anything going on in the background, it's my cat. She's in here with me. This is technically like her room and like me and my husband's office space, so this is technically her room to be in, so she is here if you hear her. But anyway, this card was number 10, Ritual. I believe that in this deck, this symbol is supposed to correspond with Leo. I could be wrong because it does look like the North Node, but if I remember correctly, there isn't actual cards for like the North Node in this deck, if I remember right. But I kind of want to touch on the rest of your cards here a bit. I think that the Ritual is interesting, and I feel like there are going to be certain things that you can do to like help yourself along in your journey on your path. Again, this reading today is meant to be, sorry, I keep finicking with the cards. This reading today is meant to be a tough love message. So there may be some stuff in here that you don't necessarily want to hear. But I feel like it's very important that you do hear it, and that's what I'm wanting to channel today from Spirit for you guys. So let's go ahead, actually, before I touch on this card a little bit more, let's get into your tarot cards here. So let me just lift these up here for us, and I'll move them back when we get to that point. So we have the Moon, the Seven of Wands, the Queen of Swords, the Hanged Man, the Knight of Swords, the Page of Swords, and the Seven of Cups. Very, very interesting, especially because you got all of the sword, like almost all of the like court sword cards, which is very interesting, and we'll get into that. So starting over here with the Moon, I feel like this card came out for you guys because there is something currently that you are trying to make a decision on that you are having difficulty with, and you're having difficulty trusting yourself, I feel like, with your ability to trust your intuition and make the correct choice for you. I want you to know that Spirit is really coming through here and saying that you can't choose an incorrect path here, okay? As long as you listen to yourself and you listen to your intuition and you don't let fear cloud your judgment, all right? So you really, really need to listen to yourself. You need to, maybe do some meditation. I like how this card here, this Ritual card here, has like incense on it. Let me kind of lift it up here so you can see. It's like someone burning incense here. I feel like maybe you need to get into the practice of meditation and really like listening to your gut, okay? Listening to that instinct, listening to your intuition, because I really believe that we have intuition for a reason, right? Our intuition is usually never wrong, okay? As long as you don't doubt yourself, you're gonna make the correct choice. And I really feel like that's being reiterated here with the Seven of Cups. The Seven of Cups is all about discernment. It's all about making decisions, but it's also about making decisions that we've sat on for a while, making a good calculated decision. And not rushing into making a decision one way or the other. It's okay to sit on things for a little bit and to, see if anything changes. I once heard from somebody that they will, if they get that initial gut reaction of like, oh yeah, I really want to go for that, I really want to do that, they'll sit on it for a couple of days. And then if that feeling is still there in a couple of days, then they will act on it. Sometimes it's okay to want to weigh I cannot talk today. To want to weigh the pros and cons of a situation. And I don't think that Spirit is saying not to do that, but if there's something that's really calling to you that like you're very passionate about, that you want to do, you need to go for it, okay? You can't let fear and like this idea of failure and like this disillusionment that you aren't capable of doing anything to overcloud you, all right? That's the thing about the moon, is the moon plays into that darkness, that insecurity, that the voice within our subconscious that tells us that we should be fearful of trying new things, fearful of doing things outside of the box or that aren't, the ordinary path. I feel like for you, it's interesting. The 7 of Wands came up in the last reading in pile number 2 as well. And like, it's interesting because the minor arcana cards that came out were also 2 sevens. So I think that's kind of interesting. But anyway, for the 7 of Wands here, I feel like you guys are really battling with yourself internally. You're kind of trying to hold your ground. You may be going back and forth with a decision on the daily. One day you may be like, oh yeah, this will be a great decision, let me go for it. And then, you don't take action right away. You sit on it again for a couple of days and you're like, this is stupid. Why do I want to do this? I really don't feel like your idea is stupid. I don't feel like the thing that you're wanting to go after is stupid and, insignificant. I feel like you're making it seem that way. You are putting those thoughts and ideas into your head, or your subconscious mind is, because again, our subconscious mind likes to try to protect us. But our subconscious mind can also hold us back, okay? So don't let your subconscious mind and your fears continue to hold you back. I feel like the Queen of Swords came out in this reading for you, because you need to really play into the discernment here, be decisive in what you want. And the Queen of Swords is somebody that is very cutting. She knows what she wants. She knows what she's going after. She's honestly a bad bitch, and she knows exactly what she wants, exactly like who to protect herself from and what to protect herself from. And she can be cutting, okay? Like, so if you're worried of other people's opinions or hurting someone's feelings because you're wanting to go after something, I'm getting the message from Spirit that you can't worry about that, all right? Other people's reactions and feelings to what you do, while their feelings are valid, like, it can't always affect what decisions you choose to make in your life, okay? So just because you're worried that somebody may not like your decision, may not like your idea, you can't hold yourself back from doing that, because you're afraid of the disapproval from other people. So don't let that hold you back. I feel like that's why she's coming out here, is you really need to kind of tap into that energy. You need to be able to see both sides of the swords. You need to be able, like, literally, it's like she has that meaning of like being double-edged, okay? So you need to be able to see both sides of the coin, both sides of the sword, and you need to be able to make a good decision for yourself. And you don't have to explain your reasoning for making your decision to anyone, okay? It's your life. You choose the path that you want to take. And if other people aren't happy with that, that's on them. That has nothing to do with you, okay? Because I feel like right now you're at an impasse, and you have been for a while. You've been hanging on to this idea, this decision for quite some time. And I'm getting the feeling that this is kind of like what's been happening, and this is what's to come, okay? I feel like when you tap into your Queen of Swords energy here, and you really are like, all right, this is the decision I'm making and I'm going with it. That's why we have the Page of Swords here and the Knight of Swords. And for some reason, for some of you, I'm getting the feeling that because with the Page of Swords there, a lot of the time, like, you know, that can be about us going into like a venture, like that has to do with like writing, with really using, like actively using our thinking mind. And you know, I also, one thing that I meant to mention here for you guys too is with all of the swords energy, I feel like we've been overthinking something for a while, overthinking a decision for a while, and we need to just go for it, okay? We need to decide one way or the other, and we need to go for it. And we can't look back and think, oh, well, what if this, what if that? You need to plug in and put your whole self into it. And I feel like that's where the Knight of Swords is coming out too, because the Knight of Swords, once he has made his decision, he is completely like action oriented. He goes for it, okay? There is nothing holding him back. Sometimes, you know, that's why I feel like, you know, this discernment is coming in here with the Queen of Swords and even with the Seven of Cups. Make sure that you've weighed your options. And I feel like you guys have, because again, I feel like this is something you've been sitting on for too long, and you know what your options are. You know what most likely the best path for you is. The only thing that has been holding you back is you and what you believe your abilities are and what you're fearing, okay? I feel like you need to really tap into that Knight of Swords energy, go for it, full steam ahead, and, you know, not overthink it after you've made the decision. Go for it. Put in the time, take the actionable steps, do what you need to do, and, you know, just say screw it, okay? Screw it to the rest of it, because we can't, you know, keep on living in the past. We can't keep on dwelling on, well, what if I did this instead? If you're gonna make the decision to go forward on one path, stick to it, all right? Stick to it and see it through. That is the message that I'm getting from Spirit for you. All right, so then we have in here as well the Page of Swords, and like I was saying here with the Page of Swords, I feel like for some of you this may have to do with like writing a book, or, you know, maybe you're like into journalism or something along those lines that has to do with like writing and communication. You know, this could also have to do with like work and like sending emails and things like that. But, you know, I feel like this decision has something to do like intellectually with like writing. And, you know, you can even see here in the actual card that he's like a scribe. He's like, you know, writing something down on a piece of paper here. And I feel like you're kind of needing your ideas to just kind of come to life for you too. Like, I feel like you've been sitting on this idea for so long. You need to take the steps to make it become your reality if that's what you're wanting, okay? So that's really what I'm seeing for you guys for your tarot cards. I want to show you these other cards too, because my intention that I had set with these was for Spirit to provide us with like any additional message, any clarity that we may need with the tarot cards. So let me lay these out here for us real quick. So you got, I love like the color scheme here too. It's very like brown gold, like, you know, gold, there's some brown and even some like gold in there, and then there's some gold and green in there. But essentially we have Taurus, I have Leo, I will, third house, messages, and first house, the body. So I feel like the message that Spirit is trying to give you right now is to pay attention to the things that you're seeing, the signs and synchronicities that may be lining up with this decision that you're wanting to make, okay? I feel like your spirit guides, your spiritual team Spirit is trying to tell me to tell you that, you know, they've been trying to send you messages one way or the other as to like what you should do to help you out with making this decision, but you've been ignoring them, okay? And I feel like you really need to pay attention to the little signs and synchronicities that are happening. I mean, you can even like ask your spirit guides yourself for a specific you know, message. Like you can be like, okay, if I'm supposed to do this, then have me see, you know, 222 3 times today, or, you know, whatever. Like you can ask them for whatever is like relevant to you. for a sign that this is something that you're supposed to do moving forward, and you'll either get that sign or you won't, and then you'll kind of have a little bit of clarity. But it's interesting because the third house is actually ruled by Gemini, and Gemini is all about swords. It is the swords energy, because the swords are, ruled by the air signs. And so Gemini is an air sign, and Gemini is the thinker. All right, Gemini brain is like crazy to me. One of my best friends is a Gemini, and they're like all over the place. Okay, they are constantly thinking, the wheels are constantly turning. And it's funny because this card itself actually kind of does tie into communication and writing messages. And some of you may be like on the fence about writing a book or writing a novel, or like writing something that has some sort of significance that you want to share with people, but you're like afraid to. And I really feel like you need to make your decision one way or the other as to what you're gonna do. And then you also have Taurus, I have, and Leo, I will. And I really like that for you guys. Taurus is, I love that we're getting like some more earth sign energy in here, because Taurus is all about like focus and dedication, right? And seeing things through. Taurus, all of the earth signs in general are stubborn. They're set in their ways, but they know how to get shit done, okay? Taurus knows how to get shit done. Taurus knows how to plan things out for them to accomplish what they want to. So, I feel like Spirit is saying here to you, like, come up with your game plan and go with it. All right. Don't stop until you've implemented every piece of that plan. And then, maybe you can step back and reevaluate at that point and make sure that everything is working out for you. See if you need to make any adjustments at that point. But I feel like Spirit is really saying here to make sure that you have your plan, and make sure that you kind of have a plan in place before you go full throttle steam ahead, like the Knight of Swords energy. I love the Leo, I will here. Leo is all about, like creativity, and Leo is about that fire, that drive, that passion. So for you guys, this could be something like a creative pursuit, like writing, like we had talked about. This could also, be just something that you're very passionate about. That's the one thing about the fire signs, is I feel like they're really here to teach us to pursue the things that really light us up and make us happy, bring us joy. And so I feel like that's why that card is coming out for you guys here, because I'm really getting the feeling for most of you that this is something that I feel like you've been dwelling on this so much, and you've been so wishy-washy and going back and forth with it, because this is something that is like one of your biggest dreams, and you're so afraid that it's going to fail, and you're so afraid that it's not going to go well, and then what do you have to fall back on? Like if your dream, like if you give up on your dream because it's not going well, like you feel like that's going to be the end for you. Like that would be so soul crushing to, have this dream of what you want and for it to not be successful. And like, let me tell you this, I truthfully don't believe that the things that are meant for us won't be successful. If this is something that your soul, that your heart, that you are being like called to do, that like just makes you feel so happy and inspired, you need to do it, okay? You need to go for it, because if you don't, you will regret that more than your first attempt at it being a failure. Because I say that because sometimes, our first attempt is a failure, and that's okay. You just got to get back up and keep going. And I feel like, again, that's why Taurus is coming out here for us, because you just have to stay focused on what you want. And, where our time and our energy goes, that's where like where that flows to, that's what will come back to us, right? So if we're putting in all this time and effort and energy into this project or whatever it is that we're wanting to do, it will be successful, okay? It will be. I know it will be for you. I'm getting the overwhelming feeling that you will be successful. I really love that the first house came out for you here too. First house really does represent like our physical being, our body in in this plane, in this existence. I just had like a really big burp there. But anyway, this is, I feel like, coming out as well because when the first house comes out too, like, I feel like this is a time for us to really allow other people to see our creative pursuits, to see us for who we are, to meet us at our level, and for like us to shine, right? I feel like this is your time to shine. I feel like this is coming out for you because, you know, the first house represents like your ascendant. It's like where the sun was rising over the horizon when you were born. And I feel like for you guys, you know, this is your time to shine, to be a leader, to like pursue the things that you want and to pursue the things that you're here for. Like, I really truly believe that for a lot of us, our ascendant is like our soul. It's supposed to represent that drive, that passion, the thing that we came into this lifetime to accomplish. And I feel like, you know, people always say that the ascendant, the rising sign is your mask, but I don't believe that. I feel like your ascendant is actually like what you're moving toward in this lifetime to become. It's a lot like your north node, okay? And it is, you know, what our soul wants to be recognized for, or even like what our soul currently identifies with and as. And, you know, for you guys, I feel like this is some heavy work that you're wanting to do. This is something that your soul was called here to do, and that's why it's one of your purposes, okay? And don't give up on your purpose. Don't do it, or don't avoid doing it. Don't not do it because you're scared, all right? Because then you're just gonna have to do this again, all right? Like, we literally have these lifetimes to like learn and grow and evolve, and if you hold yourself back and you don't accomplish what you want, when you literally have like your soul review, your soul's gonna be like, great, now I have to come back and do it again because I was too scared to do what I was meant to. Okay, so like don't be afraid to do that. Do what you need to do what makes you happy, do what lights you up, lead with love and passion, and like this vital force of energy, and you will literally get what you want, okay? And like literally that ties into these last 3 cards here. I asked again for some additional messages that spirit may have for you at this time. And we got love, we got vitality, and we got refinement, okay? I love this. I love that we got vitality, and this is Taurus here. And I love that we got love, and it's Libra. And then we have refinement, and it's Scorpio energy here for us. So some of you may be Taurus placements or have like a Taurus North Node. If you do have a Taurus North Node, then that would really explain, you know, a lot of this that's coming out for you. And especially right now, because when I'm filming this, it's actually the day after the lunar eclipse on the 30th of April. It happened like that night, so like into the 1st of May. And you know, it's supposed to be like a very transformative time for Taurus and even for Scorpio and for all of the other fixed signs. But like if you're on that Taurus Scorpio axis, it's really going to be important for you. And again, I feel like when you come from a place of love and you have this like vital energy to accomplish what you want, because it's like something your soul is calling you to do, you cannot fail, okay? You cannot fail in the things that your soul is calling for you, okay? Like you can stumble a little bit, you can fall down, you can mess up, because maybe, you know, the universe, spirit, whatever is trying to make another path for you that is better for you to accomplish what you want. But don't give up, okay? Don't give up on your dream. Don't give up on what you want just because it may not pan out right away. That's okay. Like, a lot of it is going to be about refinement for you. It's going to be about, okay, well, I tried this. How can I refine things to, you know, try again? How can I do things differently next time? What can I do differently now to kind of help aid in my success? Like, it's all going to be about learning and growing and refining things as you go, okay? And I really feel like this ritual card came out for us very first because again, like our earth signs such as Taurus are very good about getting into routine, getting into habit, doing things over and over and over and over again until they reach success, until they get what they want. And I feel like you're gonna have to become a little bit ritualistic in what you're wanting. If you are writing a book, or you're writing something that you're wanting to put out there for the world to see, get into the habit of writing every single day. Write something every single day, even if it's like not related to the thing that you're wanting to write. Like if you're writing like a memoir or like a book or something, like fictional even, and that's, you're not able to focus on like that story that day, write something else, do something else, get your mind flowing, get that creativity flowing, get yourself stimulated, do things that inspire you and make you feel alive, okay? Don't hold yourself back out of fear. And also, one thing that I didn't mention too, it's funny because we got Taurus here, we got Leo here. So, you have the ability inside of you, you have the want and the desire for this thing to happen for you, but do you have the will to see it through? Okay? And you have to have the will to see it through if it is what you're supposed to be doing here, okay? So yeah, really like take some time, listen to your intuition, look for some messages from the universe, from your guides, from whoever, if that's what you're needing, and go for it. Figure out what it is, the path that you want to take, and go for it. Put a few plans in place so that you kind of have an idea of, what direction you should go forward, or like how to kind of like a plan of attack even, but just go for it. Okay, go for it. That is all that I have for you guys today, pile number 3. I hope that this reading was helpful for you and that it resonated for you. If it did, please be sure to give me a thumbs up below. Leave me a comment down below as well, letting me know that you made it through the end of your reading. And I will see you guys for the next pick a card reading. Please make sure as well to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And I will see you guys in the next one, okay? Thank you so much for joining me. Bye.